equals, L, IAFTERA pub/F Chancellor Broadcasting Company A publication of DARK and Talk Radio Network IJ, 0. February Y 1995 Why the big media are attacking talk radio with its news monopoly threatened, the establishment press is lashing out wildly at its once humble electronic competitor by David Kupelian. Why? Oh, you know something? You're a black bitch. This crude retort, made by an unnamed talk show host to his African-American caller, is what CBS News chose to begin its November 4th hit piece on talk radio. It's part and parcel of the rush hour all over America, explained correspondent Richard Threlkeld. A kind of air pollution, as close as your car radio. You can now hear that sort of trash talk on radio call-in shows on more than 1,000 stations nationwide, a daily dialogue of hate and anger that's become big business, and a big target of those who want to shut down hate radio for good. Come again? More than 1,000 stations nationwide. Let's be clear, CBS is characterizing all of talk radio, including Art Bell, as air pollution, trash talk, a daily dialogue of hate and anger. But let's back up a little. The network's news hook for the slam at talk radio was the election time flap over a veteran New York City talk show host. Bob Grant hosts the most popular afternoon drive time show in New York, reported Threlkeld. He regularly insults gays, liberals, the homeless, not to mention blacks. An audio snip of Grant followed. We have in our nation, Grant intoned solemnly, not hundreds of thousands, but millions of subhumanoids, savages. Editor's note: I suppose to be more polite, Grant could have refitted the thousand soft murderous gang members in New York City's model citizens, or perhaps angelic beings. Welcome to the world of hate radio, the cause of divisiveness, discontent, and discord throughout our great nation, according to establishment elitists in government and media. That's right. Talk radio listened to by 1/2 of all American adults according to a recent Times Mirror poll is regularly reviled in the mainstream press as everything from inaccurate to sensationalistic to downright dangerous and in need of tight regulation. Consider the following exchange: CBS is characterizing all of talk radio, including Art Bell, as air pollution, trash talk, a daily dialogue of hate and anger between CBS's Tim Russert and former NBC News President Michael Gartner on CNBC's Tim Russert, October 10, 1994. Russert: why isn't Bill Clinton getting credit, Michael Gartner? Is there a bias in the press? Gartner: oh, I don't know. One of the things I think is radio. In this age of the great information superhighway, it's sort of an ox-cart bypath that is doing him in. Every day there's this drum beat on the radio. And you can't praise Clinton if you're a radio talk show host. In fact, if you read between the lines, you get the idea that maybe talk radio is responsible for violence in our nation, such as Francisco Duran's armed attack on the White House. There's so much talk of voter anger out there, Mr. Panetta. Do you think in any way that contributes to a climate where the president is not safe? Today co-host Bryant Gumbel, October 31, 1994. Hatred? Violence? Ox-cart bypaths? What's going on here? There has been a tremendous campaign, somewhat insidious, in the mainstream press to discredit talk radio, says Michael Harrison, editor and publisher of Talkers Magazine, a popular talk radio trade publication. They portray Americans who listen to talk radio as being a numerical and philosophical minority, as radicals, as winners, dissenters, and cynics. Harrison calls the CBS report a terrible, shallow, hostile, malicious slam against the medium. The reason for all of this, shall we say hatred, of talk radio is obvious. The media wish to maintain their hold on the opinions of the American public, says Harrison. There's a tremendous amount of jealousy, and maybe even financial competitiveness, with this emerging new media phenomenon called talk radio. So much for why. Let's take a look at how the mainstream press goes about discrediting talk radio. The following tried and true techniques are mainstays of the political left. Trick number 1. Call everyone with whom you disagree a hater. I.e. hate radio, Example, the gay rights lobby employs this technique very effectively. Anyone who disagrees with any part of the gay political agenda for any reason is a hater, homophobe, bigot, or Nazi. No one wants to be called a hater, so this trick causes many to bend over backwards to accommodate the name caller and avoid the name. Cover story continued on page 15, #iArticulations letters from listeners. America has not lost its soul. This past Monday night, in one of the recent storms to hit the Seattle area, my wheels locked up and my car literally skidded off the road and became airborne over a steep cliff of approximately 80 feet. As I saw the rush of trees and rocks in the headlights flash in front of me, all I could think of was, this is it. I really thought and knew I was going to die. Yet when the car came to a stop, I realized I was not only okay, but without even a scratch, bruise, or pain of any kind. In the blackest of night, I started to feel my way up the steep slope, grasping for weeds, bran cress, and rocks, slowly pulling myself up. Halfway up, occasionally slipping, it occurred to me that if I did fall, it would be onto the rocks below. I clung there, pressing myself on the slope, with an amazing clarity of thought. The adrenaline was pumping, believe me. I reached the top of the road again, sat down, and thought about God, my family and this country, and, believe it or not, a recent show you did about what you like and dislike about the 90s. I later heard that evening that 68 people died in a plane crash. America has not lost its soul. My life has taken on new meaning. I feel that God was watching over me and will watch over this country and its people, its good people. The police and the tow truck driver were all amazed that I walked away from what I should have died from. I would encourage all of us to realize how much in an instant life is gone, how short our time is, and to question whether we are making this world a little bit better, each one of us, by sincerely making a contribution, not lip service. William Garcia, Kirkland, Washington. Election fraud is child's play. I'm a programmer, and I would like you and your readers to know just how easy it is to rig an election. Suppose you are an individual who makes $1 billion each year, or has access to and use of such funds, and there are such people. If you were determined to keep a Tom Foley, for example, in office, how much do you think you might have to offer a programmer near the election computers to add 3 lines to the program, so that he could go home to his wife that evening and say, "Honey, we're set for life, and how soon can you pack your bags for Tahiti?" Most people would probably have to think a bit if $1 million were offered. That, to a billionaire, is proportional to someone making $24,000 offering the programmer $24. In other words, a drop in the bucket. If they threw in a carte blanche on world travel, what might you do? Here we go. Your candidate is candidate Y. To make it easier to understand, I'll put it in plain English, generic terms, rather than machine language. You're aware of how some computer programs have numbered lines, with gaps for later modifications. Where the loop is occurring that adds 1 vote to the proper candidate for each card read, say, between line 100 and line 105, you add the following, 101 without the separate password, do not display or print this line or the next 2. That prevents anyone looking through a TE program from seeing these lines. 102 unless the date is November 8, 1994 or whatever election day, do not execute line 103. That way, if someone runs the program before the election to test it and make sure it is working properly, it will show no defect. 103 if the total for candidate X is greater than the total for candidate Y, set the total for candidate X to 98.3% or some other odd number of the total for candidate Y, to the nearest integer, and adjust as necessary so that the 2 totals add up to the correct grand total when added together. For each card that is read, these instructions within the standard instruction loop adjust the outcome if the after dark page 2 desired candidate is not already ahead. It is as simple as that, and I see very little oversight on the process. Fragile indeed is our liberty. Name withheld by request. Strange school assignments. A few words about public school. Kids are now writing their own suicide notes, obituaries, and such as English assignments. There seems to be a preoccupation with death and power, and an overwhelming amount of environmental gloom and doom along with pro-world government ideas. Here is an English assignment recently given to my brother, with 2 or 3 others: begin to design the perfect society, that is, a society in which you would like to live. Make sure you take good notes and be as detailed as possible. Think about this assignment seriously. Societies that have no logic or rationale to them, that is, they don't make sense and you can't defend them, will not be accepted. Today, make certain you touch on the following: ways of dealing with conflict and disobedience. Organization: where is the power? Education: how is information passed on to generations? What does this BS have to do with English? I believe assignments like this are actually assessments designed to track the effectiveness of their pro-world government/environmental message. Also, this assignment could be used to assess the influence of the parents on the kids. I really enjoy your show. Jeff, KGA 1510, Spokane, Washington. AFTERDARK welcomes your comments and communications. Send letters to After Dark C/O Chancellor Broadcasting Co., 744 East Pine Street, Central Point, Oregon 97502, or you may fax them to 503-664-8261. All letters should have the writer's name, address, and daytime telephone number. Letters may be edited for space and clarity. From the High Desert. My advice to the new Congress by Art Bell: after 40 years the Republicans have finally done it. We have control of both houses of the United States Congress. It's really hard to believe, since most Americans can't even remember a Republican Congress. For 4 decades conservatives have struggled with the liberal Washington establishment. Then in November, after 2 years of an activist administration attempting to push the nation radically leftward, the American public had a political revolution through ballots, not bullets. Not one Republican incumbent in Congress was ousted, while Democrats were knocked over with sniper-like accuracy. January 1995 marks the historic conservative takeover. Republicans have dreamed the impossible dream and behold, the dream has come true. The question is now what? There's plenty that the Republicans can do in the coming months, but it's what they don't do that may well determine their success over the coming years. Yes, the Republicans are eager to make changes, they've waited a long time, and now is their chance. But they must not make the same mistake the Democrats did. When Bill Clinton was running for president, he made a lot of non-specific promises about change. It sounded good to many, but then during his first month in office Clinton's real agenda became apparent, and it scared the pants off those who had believed he was a new Democrat. Between gays in the military and fetal tissue research, he just about spent all his political capital with social conservatives. He compounded that serious mistake by being continually pulled to the far left, defining as the centerpiece of his agenda health care for all Americans that can never be taken away. It sounded like socialism to me, and I wasn't alone. The American people gave New Democrat Bill and his plans a firm thumbs down on November 8. But that's not the end of it. What really scares the Democrats is that there may be another thumbs down decision coming in 1996, leaving Republicans not only with a stranglehold on Democrats in Congress, but occupying the White House as well. This is a very real possibility since presidential victories usually have coattails pulling many from their party along with them. However, if Republicans are not careful, we may end up making the Clinton mistake, reaching too far, too fast into the moral arena. We must not make the same mistake the Democrats made: wrong political priorities. The American people want to be governed from the center, not the far left or the far right. Let's send the president good solid legislation from what I would call the center. A balanced budget amendment, real crime legislation without gun control, that will certainly be controversial enough, a line item veto, a tax break for the middle class, and a capital gains tax cut are just a few examples. Let's first gain the trust of the American people by acknowledging their priorities. If Republicans allow themselves to be pushed too far by those conservatives who see the moral issue as all that's important, we will have missed the message that was sent to Bill Clinton. And if we do, it may be another 40 years before we get another chance to help America. It's not that certain moral issues don't have a place in the coming struggle, many are popular with the public, such as school prayer. But the question is, how far, how fast? As tempting as it might be for many Republicans to lead the charge with abortion, gay issues, etc., the party would be losing its political capital down the same black hole in which President Clinton lost his. Let's get on with cleaning House and Senate, and getting the country on the right track. Then we can make our move into the more demanding, rough waters. Why rock the boat for 96? There's plenty of time for another revolution after that. From the center? After Dark Page 3 feature article An Evening with Don McAlvaney, Understanding Gone Surviving a Chaotic Future. Don McAlvaney's recent appearance on Coast to Coast AM was followed by an avalanche of orders for taped copies of the 3-hour interview. Don's insights about world events and trends, as well as his critical information on how to survive a chaotic and dangerous future, prompted Art to comment, "These are some of the most precious hours that I can recall spending in radio." Best known for his popular and stunningly hardcore newsletter, The McAlvaney Intelligence Advisor, which he describes as an in-depth monetary, economic, geopolitical, and precious metals analysis, Don McAlvaney also owns a precious metals brokerage in Colorado. But his first love, he says, is to try to wake up Americans as to the incredible decline that our country is in, the dangers our Constitution faces, and the dangers to our freedoms. With that in mind, sample a few of Don McAlvaney's comments to Art Bell's audience. The new Russian threat. Don McAlvaney, communism is not dead, the Cold War is not over, and peace has not arrived. We are looking at one of the greatest strategic deceptions of all time. Think about it. 1/3 of the world is still under communist control. The Russian hardliners are biding their time as the chaos spreads across that country. The KGB is more powerful than it was 20 years ago. The Russian military still has close to 25,000 warheads on 12,000 to 15,000 missiles, mostly pointed at the US. At the same time, they are sucking huge amounts of financial, high-tech, and food aid out of the West. Meanwhile, Clinton and others are massively and rapidly disarming. Editor's note: to back up his claim that the death of communism is a gigantic deception, McAlvaney points out that the dissolution of the Soviet bloc ushered in by Mikhail Gorbachev was actually the 6th time in this century that the Soviet Union had apparently disavowed communism, embraced free markets and free elections, and asked for lots of money from the West. As detailed in the 1990 blockbuster book Deception by Edward J. Epstein, Glasnost, Russian for Publicity or Public Relations Campaign, was a concept originally developed by the dictator Lenin as a means of acquiring massive amounts of Western investments to shore up an economy devastated by the communist takeover of the Russian government. Glasnost under Lenin began in 1921 but ended abruptly in 1929. Similar Glasnost campaigns were repeated. Russia is setting the stage for an eventual move into the Middle East and occupation of the Persian Gulf oil fields by the latter part of the 1990s, twice under Stalin's reign, again under Khrushchev, called de-Stalinization, and later under Brezhnev, labeled détente. The pattern was always the same: as the Soviet economy staggered under communist policies and draining military expenditures, there was an apparent loosening of political oppression and a professed new openness to capitalism. Each time, after the decimated Soviet economy was infused with massive Western aid, there followed a harsh reimposition of hardline communist ideology along with heightened military expansionism. Then came Gorbachev. McAlvaney, the 6th Glasnost was to be the greatest and grandest of all. Communism was to be declared dead, the Cold War over, the Iron Curtain reduced to nothing. They would get rid of the Berlin Wall and allow reunification of Germany. In reality, they would put second and third echelon communists in control in most East European countries. They would put KGB appointed people in all of the republics, which is the case today, After Dark Page 4, and they would continue to wield a decisive influence, although from behind the scenes, while calling themselves non-communist. MC Alvany cites the chilling 1984 book New Lies for Old by Anatoly Golitsyn, one of the most prominent defectors ever to leave the KGB. Golitsyn predicted a false liberalization in Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, whose reforms would be so dazzling that the West would be incapable of retaining a consensus in favor of a strong defense. Golitsyn was right. MCA Alvany, the Russians are the chess champions of the world, and they see this as one gigantic global chess game that takes place over a 20 or 30-year period. Gorbachev's task was to dismantle the old Soviet Empire, but a new communist federation is being put together in its place. The new Russian Federation will include Russia, perhaps Afghanistan, and probably India. It will include Iraq, Iran, Syria, Ethiopia, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, the newly Marxist-Leninist Republic of South Africa, China, Vietnam, North Korea, and so on, a federation of 2.5 to 3 billion people. McAlvany believes there is a 90% chance that Vladimir Zhirinovsky or another similar hardliner will come to power in the next 12 to 18 months. In December 1993, Zhirinovsky surprised the world when his Liberal Democratic Party beat Boris Yeltsin's Russia's Choice Party in the country's first parliamentary elections. Mikhail Gorbachev, hailed by Time magazine as its man of the decade, MCA Alvany, Zhirinovsky has written a book about taking over the Persian Gulf. Well, Brezhnev said back in 1973 that the USSR would take those two great treasure chests upon which the West depends, the strategic oil reserves in the Middle East and the strategic mineral reserves in South Africa, and then we will dictate the terms of surrender to the US and the West. Russia is setting the stage for an eventual move into the Middle East and occupation of the Persian Gulf oil fields by the latter part of the 1990s. They have neutralized their eastern and western flanks, and the Clintonistas are responding by rapidly dismantling our military. The New World Order, our military is far smaller today than when we assembled Operation Desert Storm just about 3 years ago. The Clinton administration is dismantling our defense industry, closing down our production lines all over the country, and closing down our military bases all over the world. Just as ominously, they are moving what is left of our military under the command of the UN, a transition which is going on very rapidly. A lot of things Clinton does make no sense unless you stand back and look at the whole concept of the New World Order. However, the buildup of the United Nations, the move of the US military under the control of the UN, and so on, these things make sense in light of this whole strategy for world government that the establishment folks in America, Europe, and elsewhere are pushing. These people are not crazy. There is a plan and a strategy behind these things. Americans need to realize this. They have banned 180 different semi-automatic firearms, not 19. And even though they have grandfathered in people who already own those particular semi-automatic weapons, they can amend that at any time and remove the grandfather clause. See January 1995 After Dark for a complete list of firearms banned by the crime bill. Critical of their worldview, they can seize your home or even your children. There are 4 little words that describe the whole agenda of the Clintonistas and this move toward a socialist police state: to control the people. They want to control every aspect of our lives. Gun control. The next wave, the Clinton administration is dismantling our defense industry, closing down our production lines all over the country, and closing down our military bases all over the world. It makes a major move toward bringing local law enforcement under federal control and setting up a national police force. It puts 37,000 new social workers out on the street where they can come into your home and search it without a warrant. If they find anything they think may be contributing to the delinquency of your child, perhaps something in your homeschooling curriculum, there's no question about it, the government's ultimate objective is to get all the guns. It's not registration, it's confiscation. Before you can establish a total socialist police state under the New World Order, you have to disarm the American people. Brady 1 was a stepping stone, the semi-auto ban in the crime bill is a stepping stone. Brady 2 will include requirements for licensing all gun owners in the country. Under Brady 2, if you have as many as 20 guns or 1,000 rounds of ammo, you have an arsenal, and you have to register, pay a $300 licensing fee, and allow the BATF, those are the good folks that shot up Waco, Texas, to come into your home 3 times a year so they can inspect your arsenal, without a warrant. Confrontation is inevitable. We're moving toward a major confrontation. A lot of people across the country are getting very angry as they won ILO/MIWA/T, the crime bill, which wasn't even read by 95% of the congressmen who voted for it, is not a crime control bill, it is a people control bill. In fact, it is a formula for a police state. I've been writing in my newsletter for the last couple of years that we are plunging toward a socialist police state in America, and this bill is a quantum leap in that direction. GIZMYW After Dark, page 5 ACN. Off to Africa. 10 IP. T22IE4. CIGI. See the Constitution just torn up and thrown away. They see the escalating seizures and forfeitures. Last year the government seized property and assets from 250,000 Americans, that's 5,000 a week. They see the Randy Weaver, Waco type things, where the government just runs roughshod over people, and if you raise a finger in objection they can shoot you, burn you, or gas you. There is a lot of anger growing across the land. The government senses it too, and that is why they are moving so rapidly to implement the crime control bill. I pay way too many taxes, but that has not been my choke point, as it is with the tax resistors out there. But mess with my kids, or mess with my guns, and all of a sudden you've got a very angry man on your hands. And that's the way people feel across the country. People are very emotional about both of those things, and these idiots are messing with both. I think there is an anger growing across the land and an incipient resistance to this that is growing. I believe we are moving towards some sort of a crisis. Standing against evil, I'm a Christian, and I make no apologies for that. Unfortunately, most of the Christians I know are bloody idiots. Some understand the Bible, but a lot don't. The Christian church in America is fat, dumb, and happy. It is apathetic, complacent, and ruined by 50 years of prosperity since the end of World War II. And that also describes the average American. Most Christians today have missed the point. They know about Jesus Christ. But the Bible also has a great deal to say about taking a stand against evil. Americans in general, and Christians in particular, have recognized evil, but have not taken a stand against it. So while it's true that Christians need to take a stand for Jesus Christ, and I try to in everything I do, we also need to be taking a stand against evil. We need to draw a line in the sand and say, this is it. Many of our founding fathers had a Bible in one hand and a rifle in the other. A second term for Bill Clinton? By the way, people say Bill Clinton is down for the count. Don't underestimate Bill Clinton's ability to bounce back. You could throw him off the Empire State Building and he'd land lightly on his feet like a cat. He doesn't have 9 lives, but 9,000 lives. He just keeps coming back. In fact, I'll make a prediction. I think don't underestimate Bill Clinton's ability to bounce back. In fact, I'll make a prediction. I think there's better than a 50-50 chance that Bill Clinton will be re-elected in 1996. There's better than a 50-50 chance that Bill Clinton will be re-elected in 1996. The one way they will get rid of Bill Clinton is if the establishment decides to take him down. If people all over the world are laughing at us because of him, if he causes too much embarrassment for the New World Order, then he may be history. If we have these folks running our country from 1996 to the year 2000, then either there will be a conflict, or we will be slaves. We will lose all of our freedom. I don't think they can take down the Constitution totally between now and 96, but if you give them 96 to the year 2000, I do believe they can take down the Constitution, and then we are in deep trouble. The biggest dilemma they have is that the American people are armed. Some good news: when Hitler installed his dictatorship, as well as Lenin in Russia, Castro in Cuba, and Mao in China, they had a lot going for them. But what they did not have was radio talk shows like Art Bell, Rush Limbaugh, and the hundreds of other radio talk shows around the country that are reaching tens of millions of Americans every single day. After Dark, page 6, telling them what the establishment does not want them to know. The other key source for reliable information today is newsletters. Just like the letters of correspondence before the American Revolution, today the hundreds of newsletters, like talk radio, are punching major holes in their information monopoly. Then we've got the fax machine and the computer networks. The powers that be cannot do what they are doing in the darkness, and we have made substantial inroads into their monopoly on the communications media. This is why they are panicked and moving so fast. They know the sleeping giant is beginning to wake up, and that a collision is coming. See next page for Don MCA/Vinny's advice about how to prepare for the future. Getting out of According After Dark to Don McAlvany, there are a lot of steps that people are taking or should be taking toward greater self-sufficiency. Readers can get a free copy of Don M. Greater Self-Sufficiency for Troubled Times. See offer in box on previous page. Here is a quick run-through of some of the important, perhaps life essays that prudent people should be taking. 2. Agirally, IHFF Financial Self-Sufficiency, get out of debt, get liquid as rapidly as possible, save at least 10% of your income, avoid the stock and bond markets, have no more than 25% of your assets in real estate, and do CLOs metals, 2/3 in gold, 1/3 in silver. Starting a cottage business or home-based business. Information self-sufficiency, develop alternate sources of information particularly via talk radio and newsletters. 0200 Communication self-sufficiency, everyone should have some so wave receiver. If we ever have a national emergency, traditional avenues of communication could be shut down. The crisis won't be just in America. It will be covered one world. We are going to need to be able to talk to tyranny, whether they are 15 miles away, 150 miles away, or 1,500 miles away. Education self-sufficiency, they're trying to destroy our kids' minds in the public schools and prepare them for the new W order. Great new movement. You've edged a million kids have I in the educational monopoly that the political left has had. Last spring the government, as part of H.R. 6, tried to shut down homeschooling in all private Christian schools in America. 1 million iritfo. Washington, and they backed off very key. Through the U.N. Convention on the Child. Food self-sufficiency, very simply, store a year's supply of survival food, and row things. Meal self-sufficiency, there are 3 problems with our medic. First, allopathic medicine doesn't have answers for a great many medical problems. Second, the federal government is obsessed with socializing healthcare. And third, the FDA seems intent on stamping out all forms of alternative medicine. REOPJEJLR should therefore learn about the various alternative medicine treatments which have been very promising in regard to controlling or eliminating certain diseases and conditions. These include chelation therapy, nutritional therapy, homeopathy, herbal medicine, well as a number of detoxification techniques designed to clean the toxins out of the body and strengthen the immune system. In the turbulent period ahead, being meaty self-sufficient ranks extremely high. Firearm self-sufficiency, important for Ev City. Every family ought to have a minimum of at least a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol in their home. I would also advise every woman to carry number 10. It's really effective, as I found out when a Freenet, accident editor-in-chief Art Bell, editor David Kupali, and art director David B. Masters, political editor Robert R. Just Copy editor Dorothy Baker, business manager Alan Corbett, contributing writers Art Bell, David Kupali, and Alan Corbett, John Zajic, pre-press production Digital Media Inc. To order After Dark, call 1-800-917-4 art subscription, $29.95 per year. Send correspondence to After Dark C/O Chancellor Broadcasting Co. 744 East Pine Street, Central Point, Oregon 97502. Art Bell's show lines 1-800 618-8255-700 and 2-727-1295 and 702-727-1222 fax 702-727-8499 ordering line for Art Bell merchandise and tapes, 1-800-917-4 Art Postmaster, send address changes for After Dark to Chancellor Broadcasting 744 East Pine Street Co. Central Point, Oregon 97502 for extra or back issues of After Dark, $3 per issue, or customer service problems, please write to After Dark at the above address, or call 1-503-664-8829 CE with it. Employment self-sufficiency. Many people say, I'm tied to a job, I'm in the middle of a big city, I can't move. They ought a copy issue on self-sufficiency where we deal with arid ho because of the computer and fax machine. It is extremely easy to run a business from a remote area, even if you're pulling business from around the country. Hi. Hnology is working on our side as well as on TL1 Eathrgai, side JNI dependentable to decentralize. After Dark page 7 volume 1, number 2, February, 1995. After Dark at 1994 is published monthly by Chancellor Broadcasting Company, 744 East Pine Street, Central Point, Oregon 97502. All rights reserved. Photocopying, reproduction or quotation strictly prohibited without written permission from the publisher. Unsolicited material cannot be acknowledged or returned. After Dark Pre-5e, JT5 The D. Eamland Report in-depth explorations of subjects and guests featured on Art Bell's weekly Who Built Great Pyramid? The world's oldest structure is so advanced that it can't be duplicated today, even using current technology. Recently, physicist and author John Zajic gave Art's Dreamland audience a dazzling look at the world's oldest, largest, and most mysterious structure, the Great Pyramid of Giza. So enthusiastic was listener response that we decided to offer to our readers the following official Dreamland Report guided tour of the Great Pyramid. We believe you will find it an exhilarating, perhaps even mind-expanding ride. Please remain seated and fasten your safety belts. By John Zajic. Tehe Pyramids. According to common perception, they were built, with the begrudging help of great armies of slaves, by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt as tombs for preserving their royal bodies. Pyramids were meant to be monuments to the pharaoh's greatness, filled with great treasures for the afterlife. To construct these massive shrines, the pharaohs copied the oldest and largest pyramid of all, the Great Pyramid of Giza. But the Great Pyramid itself contains no pharaoh's body, no treasure chamber, and no treasures. Who, then, designed it and built it? What was its purpose? Let us begin our tour by considering a few basic facts about the Great Pyramid. The last wonder of the world. 30 times larger than the Empire State Building, the pyramid's features are so large they can be seen from the moon. Its base covers 13.6 acres, equal to 7 Midtown Manhattan city blocks, each side being greater than 5 acres 3 area. A highway lane 8 feet wide and 4 inches thick could be built from San Francisco to New York and put inside the Great Pyramid. The oldest structure in existence, having been started 4,617 years ago, it is the sole remnant of the 7 wonders of the world. Journey to the center of the earth. Only a solid stone mountain could endure the pyramid's immense weight. And indeed, a flat solid granite mountain happens to be located just beneath the surface of the ground directly under the pyramid. It is built to face true north. The pyramid is located at the exact original and present pyramid. The Great Pyramid did not always look as rough as it does today, right? Originally it was encased with a layer of tight-fitting, highly polished 20-ton stone slabs. Until these casing stones were stolen, the Great Pyramid more closely resembled the drawing on the left. After Dark page 8 radio program Dreamland center of the Earth's land mass. That its east-west axis corresponds to the longest land parallel across the Earth, passing through Africa, Asia, and America, illustration on 9, top. Similarly, the longest land meridian on Earth, through Asia, Africa, Europe, and Antarctica, also passes right through the pyramid. Since the Earth has enough land area to provide 3 billion possible building sites for the pyramid, the odds of its having been built where it is are 1 in 3 billion. Construction unequaled by modern technology. Like 20th century bridge designs, the pyramid's cornerstones have balls and sockets built into them. Several football fields long, the pyramid is subject to expansion and contraction movements from heat and cold, as well as earthquakes, settling, and other such phenomena. After 4,600 years its structure would have been significantly damaged without such construction. While the bulk of the pyramid's core was constructed of 4,000 to 40,000 pound blocks of soft limestone, the outer layer of the pyramid was made of 11ij location as shown on a split globe to reduce distortion. The location of the Great Pyramid intersects the Earth's longest land meridian and the longest land parallel. A beautifully bright, protective layer of polished stone. These outer casing stones are missing today because about 600 years ago they were stolen by Arabs. This accounts for the very worn appearance of the pyramid today, since the inner limestone blocks are not immune to attack by the elements wind, rain, and sandstorm. This protective covering was made up of 100-inch thick, 20-ton blocks of hard, white limestone, similar to marble but superior in hardness and in durability against the elements. The casing stones, 144,000 in all, were so brilliant that they could literally be seen from the mountains of Israel hundreds of miles away. On bright mornings and late afternoons, sunlight reflected by this vast mirrored surface of 5-1/4 acres distinguished the pyramid as the only single structure that has ever been visible from the moon. Note for those interested in possible symbolic significance, in Bible prophecy 144,000 is the number of people 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel who are supposed to evangelize the world at the end time. Mosque of Sultan Hassan. Amazingly, the outside surface stones are cut within 0.01 L/100th inch of perfected straight and at nearly perfect right angles for all 6 sides. And they were a highway lane 8 feet wide and 4 inches thick could be built from San Francisco to New York and put inside the Great Pyramid. Placed together with an intentional gap between them of 0.02 inch. Modern technology cannot place such 20-ton stones with greater accuracy than those in the pyramid. Even more amazing is that the 0.02 inch gap was designed to allow space for glue to seal and hold the stones together. A white cement that connected the casing stones and made them watertight is still intact and stronger than the blocks that it joins. Let's pause from our tour for a moment's rest and reflection. Whoever built the pyramid used a technology that we still do not possess today to cut, move, and cement stones. Whoever built it also had some knowledge of the earth, because it was built in the right spot, one of the few places that would support such a great weight. The builder also knew where the greatest land mass of the earth was in both the north-south and east-west directions. Amazing. But we had better keep going. And joining us on the next leg of our tour will be none other than Sir Isaac Newton. The cosmic yardstick, the Great Pyramid, is one of the most comprehensively surveyed buildings in the world. Scientists over the centuries have taken thousands of measurements in their quest to find out more about its mysteries. Among those intrigued by the incredible accuracy of the pyramid's construction was the great scientist and mathematician Sir Isaac Newton. Attempting to formulate his famous law of gravity, Newton needed to know the diameter of the Earth. However, in the 1600s no measurement was accurate enough, especially since Newton. The people of the area had viewed the pyramid and its polished stones with awe for centuries. But when a 13th century earthquake loosened some of these casing stones, the Arabs recognized a great quarry of pre-cut stones that could be used to finish off palaces and mosques. For instance, the casing stones were used to rebuild the new city of El Cairo plus Cairo mosques and palaces, including the original casing stone, although chipped and roughened by the destructive removal of all the elevated casing stones. The size, straightness, placement, and slope of remaining casing stones still can be observed. After dark page 9, circle, T, UTLFLC pyramid T and 0J plus R side. Circumference equals 1T 1/4 C21/4 CF top circumference 2XR equals 1T pyramids Decinesias pi centuries before the development of geometry, or even mathematics and hieroglyphics, the designer of the Great Pyramid seems to have known the value of pi. The periphery of the pyramid divided by twice its height is equal to 3.14159, which is pi. Theorized that the Earth's spin would cause an equatorial bulge. Having heard legends claiming that knowledge of the Earth, the past, and the future were contained in the pyramid, Newton set out to investigate. After studying the detailed measurements made by the investigators before him, Newton recognized that many key measurements would be in round numbers if the standard unit of measure was just 0.0010/1,000 inch larger than the British inch, which just happens to be the sacred Jewish inch. The sacred Jewish inch, 1/25 of a cubit, equals 1.00106 British inches. This discovery allowed the secrets of the pyramid to be unlocked and revealed unmistakable and amazing mathematical relationships. For instance, we know from geometry that there is a universal relationship between the diameter of a circle and its circumference. Consider this: the height of the pyramid's apex is 5,812.98 inches, and each side is 9,131 inches from corner to corner, in a straight line. If the circumference of the pyramid is divided by twice its height, the diameter of a circle is twice the radius, the result is 3.14159, which just happens to be pi. Incredibly, this calculation is accurate to 6 digits. So the pyramid is a square circle, and thus pi was designed into it 4,600 years ago. Pi is demonstrated many times throughout the pyramid. Other numbers are also repeated throughout. Each of the pyramid's 4 walls, when measured as a straight line, are 9,131 inches, for a total of 36,524 inches. At first glance, this number may not seem significant, but move the decimal point over and you get 365.24. Modern science has shown us that the exact length of the solar year is 365.24 days. Clearly, whoever built the pyramid had access to information beyond that which Earthlings possessed at the time, at least Earthlings as we know them. All of this evidence in the Great Pyramid shows that 4,600 years ago somebody knew a great deal about the Earth. But it gets better, much better. The average height of land above sea level, Miami being low and the Himalayas being high, as can be measured only by modern-day satellites and computers, happens to be 5,449 inches. That is the exact height of the pyramid. All 4 sides of the pyramid are very slightly and evenly bowed in, or concave. This effect, which cannot be detected by looking at the pyramid from the ground, was discovered around 1940 by a pilot taking aerial photos to check certain measurements. As measured by today's laser instruments, all of these perfectly cut and intentionally bowed stone blocks duplicate exactly the curvature of the Earth. The radius of this bow is equal to the radius of the Earth. This radius of curvature is what Newton had long been after dark page 10 seeking. Clearly, whoever built the pyramid had access to information beyond that which Earthlings possessed at the time, at least Earthlings as we know them. Now, one can argue that we were visited by scientifically advanced beings from outer space who taught us their technology. That is possible from the evidence presented, perhaps even likely. If so, these advanced beings had the paramount goal of leaving behind a message that would endure for eons. Suppose these beings decided to leave a message. The message would have to be universal yet simple. It would have to survive the centuries and be understandable by all the Earth's inhabitants despite language and cultural differences. The message would have to be understood by many languages that would not come into existence for centuries after the message was written. So far the message indicates that whoever built the pyramid knew the Earth well, the length of the year, the radius of curvature, the standard measurement techniques, the average height of the continents, and the center of the land mass. They were able to construct something that we still cannot construct today, and they were able to tie all these things together in this single structure. Were they extraterrestrial, or perhaps even supernatural? The answer is not yet clear. However, thus far we have examined only the outside of the pyramid. Next issue inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, and a startling conclusion as to who designed and built Tianhui. AK Juno AK Angkor Kinyk Ken. 800 550 AK Fairbanks Kodiak KFARKJJZ 660 Pick up art on your way home. LOL radio stations that carry CBC programs as of January 1, 95 Co FLFLFLFLGAGA Kodiak Seward Cordova Birmingham Huntsville Tuscaloosa Globe Safford Phoenix Tucson Grass Valley San Diego Palm Springs Yucca Valley Santa Barbara Bakersfield Santa Maria Paso Robles Fresno Merced Santa Rosa Sacramento Chico Quincy Redden Denver St. Augustine Leesburg Sarasota Spring Albany Gainesville KVOK 5660 KSWD 950 KLAM 1450 WYDE 850 WVNN 770 WTNW 1230 KJAA 1240 Cato 1230 KFYI 910 KTUC 1400 KNCO 830 KOGO 600 KNWZ 1270 KNWZ 106. KQSB 990 KNZR 1560 KSMA 1240 KPRL 1230 KMJ 580 KYOS.H80 KSRO 1350 KSTE 650 KPAY 1060 KPCO 1370 KQMS 1400 KNUS 710 KFOY 1240 KQBQ 1410 WKXY 930 WWTK 730 WALG 1590 KDUN 550 GA High Dalton Honolulu KLSQ KHVH where you can find coast to coast AM and Dreamland MNMNMNMNMO MSMT MT 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 NC 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 NE 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 NHNMNMNV NV New York New York New York Brainerd Winona St. Cloud Duluth St. Louis Columbia Kansas City Cape Girardeau Greenville Billings Missoula Helena Bozeman Shelby Chapel Hill Fuquay-Varina Fayetteville Southern PNs Jacksonville Lincoln Omaha Scottsbluff Manchester Albuquerque Roswell Las Vegas Reno Jamestown Utica Amsterdam WWWI 1270 KWNO 1230 KNSI 1450 WEBC 560 KSD 550 KFRU 1400 KCMO 810 KZIN 960 WGVM 1260 KBLG 910 KGVO 1290 KLCY 930 KCAP 1340 KMMS 1450 WADA 1390 WCHL 1360 WCRY 990 WFNC 640 WEB 990 WLAS 910 CLIN 1400 KKAR 1290 Colt 1320 WGIR 610 KHTL 920 KBIM 910 KDWN 720 KOH 780 WJTN 1240 WIBX 610 WCSS 1490 1430 830 00 Youngstown Mansfield WKBN 570 WMAN 1400 WBLY 1600 IA Ottumwa Clay 1480 O Springfield IL Boise Quito 630 OKWKY 930 IL St. Mary's KOFE Oregon Portland KEX 1190 IL Rockford WNTA or ILIL Atoa Peru WCMY 1240 1150 *1431 102.3 ILIL Morton Champion WTAZ 102.3 or KPNW 1120 KBKR 1490. KLBM 1450 KBMD 1590, WKTW 93.5 IL Springfield IL Heron KS Wichita WMAY 970 WJPF 1340 KFLL 1330 KSKS KSCB Arkansas City Liberal KS Salina KY Lexington KY Russellville KYLA Ma MI Owensboro New Orleans 1280 1270 KSAL 1150 WLXG 1300 WRUS 610 WOMI 1490 WQUE 1280 Northampton WHMP 1400 Sault Ste. Marie WKNW 1400 Muskegon WKBZ 850 Flint WFNT 1470 Oklahoma City Eugene or Baker City La Grande Tillamook TNTNTNTXTXTX WIWI Jackson Memphis Murfreesboro San Antonio El Paso Houston Salt Lake City Blandig Cedar City Burlington Brattleboro Bellingham Seattle Wenatchee Moses Lake Yakima Pullman Spokane Tri-Cities Goldendale Kenosha Fond du Lac West Bend Stevens Point La Crosse Janesville Green River WTJS WMC WGNS WOAI KTS MKTRH KCNR CUDA KSUB WVMT WKVT KGMI KVI KPQ KBSN KUDI KQQQ KGA KONA KLC KWLIP KFIZ WBKV WSPO WIZM WCLOK UGR 1390 790 1450 1200 1380 740 1320 790 590 620 1490 795 70 560 1470 980 650 1510 610 1400 1050 1450 1470 1010 1410 1230 1490 Dreamland only affiliate update. Keep the mail rolling in, and thanks to everyone who helped with the push last month. As the new year gets underway, many stations are now re-examining their format. Although our main pursuit is uncharted territory, we still need to contact our existing affiliates on a regular basis and thank them for continuing to carry arts programs. In this regard, there is a station that needs some attention. It has not threatened in any way to drop the program, it's just that we feel a little encouragement will help a great deal. KSD 3100 Market Street, St. Louis, MO 63103, is currently re-evaluating all of its programming. Many of you, from time to time, hear that one of your local stations is changing its programming format from music to all talk, and you immediately let us know. Your prompt input or Coos Bay or Medford or Klamath Falls PA Allentown KRSR 106.5 KOPE 103.5 PA Bedford Erie Oil City WAYC 1310 WFLP 1330 WOYL 1340 PAPA Beaver Falls Phillipsburg WBVP 1230 WPHB 1260 SC Spartanburg Word 910. All the info on ArtBell. Thanks again, and here are a few stations we are currently working on. If you live in these areas, any mail from you or your relatives about art to these stations would not go amiss. WEVD, 770 Broadway, New York 10022 SC Greenville Columbia Sumter Charleston Sioux Falls WFBC 1330, Wood, KAGO 1150. KAEB 790 WVOCWSSCWTMZKSOO After Dark Page 11560, 1340 1250 1140 Allowasus to contact a music station we might not otherwise have reached and to send them Suite 220, 2471 North 54th Street Philadelphia, PA 19131 WRVA, Box 1516, Richmond, VA 23223 WHCS, 1111 Virginia St. East Charleston, WV 25301 KTOQ, Box 1680, Rapid City So 57709 Short Takes Bits and Pieces 0 News Jay Leno, commenting on the successful campaign of convicted cocaine user Marion Barry for mayor of Washington, D.C., he'll be the first mayor to ride to his inauguration in a limousine with license plates he made himself. Is Paula Jones telling the truth about alleged sexual harassment by then-Governor Bill Clinton? Most of the media think so, according to a new book, When Should the Watchdogs RH, authored by Robert Lichter of the Center for Media and Public Affairs, and co-author of numerous famous surveys of the news media elite, and Professor Larry Sabato of the University of Virginia. The book reveals widespread media acceptance by the press of Jones' charges. However, says the book, reporters claimed they were uncomfortable with the story and didn't feel it served the public interest. Here are a few quotes from the book, courtesy of the Media Research Center. CBS reporter Scott Pelley, who interviewed Arkansas state troopers for 10 hours for a never-aired story, told the authors, "We just felt, not to sound pompous in any way, but it didn't rise to the level of something that we wanted to put on the evening news." Los Angeles Times reporter Bill Rempel said, "We didn't have any doubt that the stories we heard were true in substance." ABC's Jim Wooten summed it up when he told the authors, "Yeah, I think the troopers were telling the truth, but I don't have any interest in who he was sleeping with then or who he's screwing now. Exercise dictatorial control. Just look at how government is already dealing with environmental regulation and enforcement." Examples courtesy of columnist Walter Williams. A Maryland couple suffered devastating financial losses when the endangered Puritan tiger beetle was found on their property. In order to protect the beetle, the couple was prohibited from taking action to halt the soil erosion that was jeopardizing their home. During their fight with federal agents, 22 feet of their property plunged into the Chesapeake Bay. Tuong Minh Lin, a Vietnam refugee, faces a 1-year imprisonment and a $300,000 fine because federal agents accused him of running over 5 suspected Tipton kangaroo rats while tilling his 719-acre farm in Bakersfield, California. Federal agents have already seized his $50,000 tractor. Michael Rowe broke the law when he built a fire break around his Riverside, California house. His house was saved while most of his neighbors lost theirs in the fires that erupted in Southern California last year. It's that kangaroo rat again. Acting on the demands of environmentalists to protect the kangaroo rat, Congress prevented homeowners from building fire breaks in or around the rat habitat. In 1993, $500 million in construction. Although President Clinton's popularity has fallen below 40%, he is doing great compared to the news media. According to Wall Street Journal columnist Gerald F. Sieb, public approval for the media is 16% lower than approval for the president. People were asked to rate leaders and institutions on the issue of honesty. Clinton got 37%, while the media were trusted by only 21%. Since the reputed death of socialism, many astute observers have noted that radical environmentalism has replaced socialism as the political left's new religion and new excuse for wanting to. After Dark Page 12 was halted in Orange County, California by the Fish and Wildlife Service to protect the 2-inch Pacific pocket mouse. What about Oregon's successful Measure 16 that legalized doctor-assisted suicide? Did anyone bother to check the track record of countries where such laws have been in force for some time? In the Netherlands, where assisted suicide and euthanasia are legal, the Dutch government found that in 1990 more than 1/3 of euthanist patients were killed without their family's knowledge or consent. Many of these killings occurred even though the doctors believed other treatment options were available. Quote of the month, the Democrats are being blamed more than Republicans because they ran in 1992 saying, "If you elect us, we will get all of these things done. We'll have a Democratic White House, we'll have a Democratic Congress, and all of the gridlock you saw in the past will fade away." Instead, they look like the gang that couldn't shoot straight, they can't get anything through. Now that's not exactly true, because in fact they've gotten a lot of things through, important things like, I can't think of any right now. NBC News and former New York Times reporter Gwen Ifill on Meet the Press, October 2, 1994. A.N.O.M.A.L.I.E.S glimpses into the unknown. Despite November's Republican landslide, Hillary Clinton and White House aides are still brainstorming about how to revive the health care bill in some form, reports the Wall Street Journal. The only matter certain now is that it will be a scaled-down proposal that opponents won't be able to easily portray as a government takeover of the healthcare system. But aides close to Hillary Rodham Clinton are still pushing for as sweeping a proposal as possible. The United States military is being asked to do too much with too few resources, says Arizona Senator John McCain, a member of the Armed Services Committee and former POW and Vietnam War hero. McCain cites ominous evidence of a spiraling decline in U.S. military capability. The Incheon Amphibious Group and the 2,000 Marines of the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit were ordered to sail for Haiti only 12 days after returning from a 6-month deployment to Somalia. Soldiers manning Patriot missile systems are on their 5th 6-month deployment overseas since the end of Desert Storm. Some air crews in Europe are spending 270 days per year in support of peacekeeping operations. 17,000 service members are receiving food stamps, and 3 times that number may be eligible. Comments former Vice President Dan Quayle, "If the Clinton administration continues to deny there's a problem, then maybe a Republican Congress can come to the rescue of our men and women in uniform, who salute and say yes sir even to a commander-in-chief who has lost their respect." Comic Argus Hamilton says he got a peek at Senator Ted Kennedy's latest speech. "Some men see a woman sitting on a bar stool at 2 o'clock in the morning on Good Friday and say why? I see the same thing and say, win it." Art's latest program tapes. Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, live Monday Friday program #guest and topic 941028C annual ghost show / no guest, 941111LC Lindsey Williams / new diseases 941115C John Hogue / prophecy program # 11 p.m. 4 a.m. Pacific Date Hours October 28, 94 5 hours November 11, 94 5 hours November 15, 94 5 hours Dreamland with Art Bell live Sundays 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific Guest and topic Date Hours 9401016 D Sky Ambrose / Alien Abductee 941 DB and A Kirkwood / St. Mary's Message 941030 D Leah Ellie / Alien Abductee 941106 D Katharina Wilson / Alien Abductee 941113 D Jim Deerdorf / ETS and the Bible 941120 D Dave Talbot / Worlds in Collision Use Our Order October 16, 94 October 23, 94 October 30, 94 November 6, 94 March 27, 94 November 20, 94 3 hours 3 hours 3 hours 3 hours 3 hours 3 hours cost $26.50 $26.50 $26.50 cost $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 form on page 15. See back cover for complete tape list. After Dark page 13 behind the scenes. Don't Do Itscorbeth. By Alan Corbett, President, CBCASU. Read last month, the syndication of Art Bell is the American dream as told in 90s vernacular, complete with space-age technology and the miracle of modern telecommunications. So now, pull up a comfy chair, fire up the furnace, and enjoy another chapter in the story of Art Bell. It is 1 week before we at the flagship station are to begin syndicating Art's show when a call comes in from an executive from another network. I'm thinking, hey, this is great, a network honcho calling me here in Medford, Oregon, welcoming me to the sacred brotherhood of network radio. This fantasy is rudely interrupted by the following words shrieking through the phone's receiver: "Corbett, don't do it." I can't believe my ears. I tell the guy to hang on a minute so I can close the office door for some privacy. But then I realize, my office is also the station kitchen, the traffic department, reception, copywriting, accounting, and engineering all in one room. Normally I'm lucky to have a minute alone in the restroom. So instead, I contain my astonishment and disappointment, and listen. "Corbett, don't do it. Overnight radio is very difficult. Very, very tricky. As a matter of fact, none of us since Larry King has ever been able to do anything with overnight on a national level." Before I can respond comes the knife in my heart. "More importantly, Corbett, it's impossible to make any money. If you want to go broke, then don't listen to me. I'd be lying if." Said his comments didn't fuel the little demon on one side of me saying, "You moron, give up. You can't do what the big networks have failed at. Who are you kidding?" But then the angel on the other side chimed in with, "Follow what you know. Overnight radio is viable. Overnight radio is necessary. And Corbett, my boy, you know deep in your gut that overnight radio can be profitable." Considering that we were offering the best overnight guy in the business, along with a serious commitment to providing reliable program quality, consistent service, and concerned personnel who would actually be interested in serving both our affiliates and listeners, I felt we had a fighting chance. For those of you who know little more about the business of talk radio than where your favorite stations are, more importantly, Corbett, it's impossible to make any money. If you want to go broke, then don't listen to me on the dial. Let me take you on a brief tour of what a medium to small market radio station program director or general manager goes through trying to get network programming. Actually, with the proliferation of radio stations across this country, decent programming is very hard to find. First, most of the major networks, like NBC, ABC, CBS, Westwood One, and Mutual, already have long-standing affiliates. Thus, many stations not associated with these networks simply don't have access to their services. Second, and more important, many of the large networks are very close to crumbling under the weight and expense of their own top-heavy bureaucracy. They tend to be indifferent, inflexible, and arrogant. For example, wearing my general manager's cap of KOPE-FM, our local flagship station, I approached one of the large networks and told them I was interested in taking one of their shows. It was a 3-hour program that was not being broadcast in our local market. I was able to broadcast, only 2 of the 3 hours. This was not convenient for them, so they would not allow us to air any of the show. I even told them I would take the first 2 hours and after dark page 14 work toward finding space for the 3rd hour within 60 days. Still not good enough. Finally we found other programming and they are still not on in our local market. And I'm reasonably certain they don't even care. The second problem talk radio stations face is the ineptitude, unteleability, dishonesty, and lack of professionalism of many of the smaller networks. Many of the small syndicators do not have engineering help available, they don't follow up on their affiliates' questions, and their programming is in some cases irresponsible and unteleable. Shows and hosts are on the air one day and gone the next. This drives station managers crazy, and you the listeners ultimately suffer. As I reviewed the facts, I trusted the angel on my shoulder and regained my confidence that we had a good shot. No, a great shot at success. Why? Because we had no intention whatsoever of conducting business like the big networks. We also had no intention of operating like most of the smaller ones either. From our inception, we have been committed to supplying 24-hour engineering support to both ourselves and our affiliates. Our affiliate relations and sales departments are carefully instructed to be truthful at all times and to give the best, most honest service possible. All of this, coupled with Art Bell and his very unique style, has given us the best possible chance for success. Next month I'll try to shed a little light on just how we go about adding affiliates and increasing the size of the network. Hopefully, a look at this process will help you understand some of what's involved in getting art on the air all over the country, and will provide some insight into the age-old question, how come art's not on in Cleveland? Until then, the moral of this bedtime story is to follow your gut instinct, and don't let the big guys bully you into thinking you can't do something when you know you can. Oh, and listen to the little angel inside talking to you. IJI, cover story continued from page 1, trick number 2, showcase extremists as though they were typical of the entire movement. Example, 1 or 2 anti-abortion activists freak out and shoot an abortion doctor. The media and pro-abortion camp then portray the entire pro-life movement as violent and in need of new and severe regulations. These tricks are currently being employed against talk radio. Could new regulation be far behind? Right now, the prospect of government regulation of talk radio has cooled considerably, but it was a very hot issue about a year ago. Both the House and Senate entertained bills to reinstate the Fairness Doctrine, even though the FCC back in 1987 had thrown it out for being unconstitutional. The Fairness Doctrine gave the government the power to judge the fairness of controversial issues in terms of how they were presented on radio and television. You wound up with the fox guarding the hen house, says Harrison. After all, who does the press really want to have the power to criticize but the government itself? If you give the government power to regulate the tone and quantitative analysis of this pretty Art Bell, Gingrich and Dole have 2 groups to thank for being where they are today, gun owners and radio talk show hosts. You are, in fact, invalidating the whole purpose of the free press. Radio and television used to be considered separate from the rest of the press because they were regarded as scarce commodities in need of government regulation to protect the public. In the last few years, however, radio's spectrum scarcity has become a thing of the past, thanks to the emergence of thousands of radio stations across the country, cable TV channels, the IFT that lows after dark. At AFT ERDLD ARC CBC 744 Epine ST, Central Point, or 97502 toll free, 1-800-917-4 Art 0. I want to subscribe to After Dark. And please send a gift subscription/tapes 02, 1 year $29.95, D 2 years $57.90, 03 years $85.85 to address, City, Fro M61116 LV, else complete state, zip zip this section, address, City I. Want to order tapes #price total After Dark page 15 and more recently, the computer online networks. Ironically, spectrum scarcity exists most notably today in daily newspapers, which are free from any kind of government regulation. When the Fairness Doctrine issue was raised in 1993, many called it the Hush Rush Bill. The outcry of broadcasters, not to mention the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, was so loud that its backers dropped it like a hot potato. What about the future? Art Bell isn't particularly worried for the time being. The Fairness Doctrine is dead, says Art. With the new Congress, we now have 2 guardians called Gingrich and Dole. If you think about it, these men have 2 groups to thank for being where they are today, gun owners and radio talk show hosts. So they are not likely to let anything occur that would alienate either group. Although he believes the Republican leadership will be good gatekeepers for now, Art cautions that this is only a 2-year window. After that, what knows? Art Bell sponsors C. Crane Company 1-800-522-8863 Communications Equipment Absolutely Fresh Flowers 1-800-562-6438 Farm Fresh Carnations Port Chatham 1-800-872-5666 Gourmet Smoked Seafood Electronic Defense Systems 1-800-999-9867 Personal Defense Products North American Trading 1-800-877-9799 Gold and Silver Investments Magnaflow MF Water Conditioners 1-800-400-1234 1999 Space Age Magnetic Water Conditioners. The Washington Times 1-800-749-9011. The National Weekly Edition. The Gold Rose Company 1-800-458-7134. Real roses covered in 24-karat gold. Permashield 1-800-659-4117. Car Care Product Preparedness Expo 1-800-922-0203. Don McAlvany Tapes and More. The Tester Corporation 1-800-228-3991. UFO Model John Fullenwider 1-800-308-4565. Pycnogenol Homestead Foods 1-800-838-3132. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves, Food Systems, Coast Program. Dreamland to Coast AM with Art Bell. Live Monday, Friday, JJ PM 4 AM Pacific. Guest and topic. Date hours 930-619C 930-904C 931-030C. AIB Philadelphia Experiment June 19, 93. John Lear, UFO September 4, 93. Annual Ghost Show October 30, 93. 5 hours 9311223C 9312008C 9401008C 9403112C 9403118C 9404008C 9404115C 9404227C 9404229C 9405002C 9405006C. Lindo Thompson Waco I November 23, 93. Richard Hoagland Mars Observer December 8, 93. Linda Thompson Waco 2 January 8, 94. AIB 11 Philadelphia Experiment 03 12 94. Linda Thompson Waco 3 March 18, 94. Charles Duke Sovereignty Measure 04 08 94. Lori Itoe Prophesize and New Age April 15, 94. L. Thompson and Agent X Waco 4 April 27, 94. Mark McCandlish UFOs April 29, 94. L. Thompson Waco v. Revolution, May 2, 94. Ron Engelman Waco May 6, 94. 34545 2 hours 3 hours 5 hours 2 hours 940511C. Wally Kennett Branch Davidian 940520C. David Aikman Revolution 3 hours May 11, 94. 3 hours OS 20 94. 3 hours 940527C 9400607C 9400608C 9400610C. Preston Nichols Montauk Project. Richard Hoagland Mars Vance Davis GI Ouija Predictions. Sean Morton Predictions OS 27 94. June 7, 94. June 8, 94. June 10, 94. 9400623C 9400624C. Sheriff Arpaio Citizens Posse June 23, 94. Kevin Randall UFO Crash at Roswell 06 24 94. 2 hours 9400630C 940715C 950718C 940831C 940902C. Larry Nichols Clinton Chronicles June 30, 94. Robert Pappalardo Jupiter Collision July 15, 94. Richard Hoagland Jupiter Collision July 18, 94. Dan McAlvany Being Prepared August 31, 94. John Lear UFO September 2, 94. 2 hours 3 hours 5 hours 940907C 940909C. Larry Pratt Gun Owners of America September 7, 94. Don Schmidt The Truth About Roswell 09/09/94. 2 hours 940912C 940913C 941003C 941005C. Russ Wagner Virtual Reality September 12, 94. Dr. Ducheberg HIV Not Koshav AIDS 09/13 94. J. Wilkerson, J. Vasquez KGTV, UFO 10/03/94. Wendy Dachau Alien Abductee October 5, 94 2 hours 3 hours 2 hours 1 hour 3 5 2 5 hours 3 hours 5 hours with Art Live Sundays 7 p.m. guest and topic bell Joe p.m. Pacific date hours cost program $25 $26.50 $26.50 $19.50 $25.50 $26.50 $25.50 $26.50 $13.50 $19.50 $26.50 $26.50 $13.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $26.50 $13.50 $26.50 $13.50 $13.50 $13.50 $19.50 $26.50 $19.50 $13.50 $13.50 $13.50 $19.50 $13.50 $7.50 9402227 D9403060 9403113 D94032 D Raymond Moody Linda Howe Professor McDaniels Michael Linderman 02/27/943 hours March 6, 94 3 hours March 13, 94 3 hours March 20, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 9403227 D9404003 D9404110 D9404117 D Dr. Richard Goldberg Bud Hopkins /Alien Abduction Stalker Hunt /Ouija Board Mark McCandlish 03/27/943 hours April 3, 94 3 hours 04/10/943 hours April 17, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 9402424 D 94050 LD Richard Hoagland Phil Class N Stone Friedman April 24, 94 May 1, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 94050 D 94015 D 940522 D 940529 D 9406005 D 9406112 D John Ronner /Guardian Angels May 8, 94 3 hours Mike Rigby /Near Death Experience May 15, 94 3 hours Sally Rail UFOs OS /22 94 3 hours Tom Van Flanderer /Astronomy OS /29 943 hours RW Whitfield /Polar Shift June 5, 94 3 hours Richard Hall /UFOs June 12, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 94061 D 940626 D 940703 D Dr. Chet Snow /Out of Body Dr. Bruce McCabe /UFOs Michael Linderman /Aliens June 19, 94 June 26, 94 July 3, 94 3 hours 3 hours 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 940710 D 940717 D 940724 D 940,731 D 9408007 D 9408114 D 9408221 D 9408228 D Richard Hoagland The Moon Robert Monroe Out of Body John Zajic Great Pyramid Linda House UFOs and Aliens Sean Morton UFOs John Mack Alien Abductions Dr. Carla Turner Alien Abductions Kevin Randall Crash at Roswell July 10, 94 3 hours 07/17 943 hours July 24, 94 3 hours July 31, 94 3 hours August 7, 94 3 hours August 14, 94 3 hours 08/21 943 hours August 28, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 9409004 D9409111 D9409118 D Dr. Goldberg / Past Life Regression September 4, 94 3 hours Ropt Whitfield / Planetary Physics 09 /11 943 hours David Scotty Life After Death September 18, 94 3 hours $19.50 $19.50 $19.50 Cost 940925 D Rich. Boylan / Alien Abduction September 25, 94 3 hours $19.50 941002 D Mark Davenport / Time Travel 10 /02 943 hours $19.50 Use our convenient order form on page 15 for tape orders. Visa and MasterCard CAL 1-800-917-4 ART or mail check or money order to CAC 744 East Pine Street, Central Point, Oregon 97502 Bulk rate U.S. postage at AFTER paid DL permit number 348 Medford or DARC CBC 744 East Pine Street, Central Point, Oregon 97520 5662 Violet Roden 716 W Villa Ave Spokane, Washington 99208 4566 38011, 1 I, 3, I 2, 22 I 3 Do not ready NTIL after dark.